I think one incident which really captured a lot of this for me was the pager attack, which I'll ask Zaynab to speak on in just a moment. This was presented as a clinical targeted strike on alleged Hezbollah operatives. But in reality, we called it out as an indiscriminate attack because it, of course, could not be known who held each of the 3,000 devices at the time they were detonated, or how many civilians would be in the vicinity. Even if you could be assured that when they were given out in the first place, they were actually given to Hezbollah, and not just Hezbollah fighters. Remembering it's a very large and complex organization. This ghoulish golden pager statue presented by Netanyahu to Trump was this kind of celebration of Israeli ingenuity and technological triumph. But Zaynab did some deep investigative work and tracked down some of the child victims of those attacks, who she'll talk to you about. Zaynab's an investigative photojournalist. She's a filmmaker. She's worked on many conflicts in the region. She's gone to great lengths to gain the trust of the children and their families. And she's joining us now to share the truth that she has uncovered in those attacks. Over to you, Zaynab. Welcome.
Thank you, Professor. Hello, everyone. I'm here to speak about the attack that happened last year on the 17th of September, 2024. It was the first day of private schools in Lebanon, across Beirut, Bekaa, and the south. Many had taken first day photos that morning. Hours later, everything changed. Welcome to Operation Grim Reaper, which Israel described as the most precise attack in history. On that day, 15 children across Lebanon were affected. 2 lost their lives. 13 were maimed, losing one or both eyes, their fingers torn away, their bodies burnt and scarred, and the ages of the child victims ranged from infants to 17-year-olds. Amongst these children, I personally interviewed 7. Many people have asked me, why were the children carrying pagers in the first place? Well, the answer is simple. These were ordinary communication devices used by their parents. The children were at home when the pager started beeping strangely, but just back from the first day of school. They picked them up as any child would, took them to their parents, and then everything went dark. Now, to understand the context of this attack, it's important to clarify who the targeted individuals were. In Lebanon, a number of social, medical, and educational institutions operate under large community networks, some of which are affiliated with Hezbollah and its wider social structures. These institutions, however, are officially registered within the Lebanese state and provide essential civilian services such as healthcare, education, and social assistance. Many of the adults who possessed the pagers on the day of the attack were not combatants. They included healthcare workers, engineers, and administrative employees working within these civilian institutions. The use of pagers was widespread across different professional sectors as a basic mean of coordination and communication. Possessing such a device does not make an individual a combatant, nor does it remove the protection or their protection under international humanitarian law. Under the Geneva Conventions, medical personnel and civilian workers remain protected from attack unless they take direct part in hostilities. In this case, there is no evidence that any of the victims were engaged in any military activity at the time of the explosion. Also, the detonations occurred in public spaces, in homes, hospitals, streets, civilian neighborhoods, and markets, etc., where individuals were carrying out normal daily activities. Even if some of the victims may have been members of an armed group, international humanitarian law makes clear that a person is only considered a lawful military target while directly participating in hostilities, which when individuals are not actively fighting or off duty or dressed in civilian clothing while performing ordinary civilian acts, they are not lawful targets. But this tragedy did not begin in 2024. Munitions hidden in everyday objects are part of a much older pattern in Lebanon. Since the 1990s, dozens of Lebanese children have been killed or maimed by toys and ordinary items rigged by Israel with explosives. And this practice has been documented by multiple international reports. Now, over the past months, I have traced and met some of those survivors. The thread is clear. As we can see, it is a pattern of warfare that repeatedly turns civilians and particularly children into targets. From booby-trapped objects in the 1990s to exploding pagers in 2024, the tactic remains the same, only the technology has evolved. Now, why is it important to speak about this? Because impunity has consequences, simply. 35 years of Israeli weaponizing ordinary objects have passed, and justice has never been served. When children grow up knowing that their suffering brings no justice, they might grow up losing faith in the system. And today, 2 children lost their lives, and 13 live without sight, without fingers, without normal childhood. Their parents do not ask for pity, they ask for justice, because every time we ignore crimes, we allow them to be repeated. And these children are not awaiting sympathy, by the way. Today, they are learning to live again. They are relearning to write, to draw, to read, to play music, to ride a bicycle, and much, much more. This is not only a story of tragedy, it is one of extraordinary resilience. And when you speak with the children, you will be shocked of how strong and well-spoken they are. Now, when we speak about child protection in war, we often talk about education, trauma, and recovery. But what about accountability? Now, today I'm here to tell the world that these children are not numbers on a casualty list. Each has a name, a face, a family, and a dream. These stories are not just about Lebanon, they're about the world we are all shaping, a world where technology evolves faster than morality and where precision no longer means accuracy, but rather the precise destruction of innocence. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Zaynab, for your wonderful story and for your courage and telling the stories that we didn't read about in the mainstream media when this happened. And Zaynab's working on a film about these issues over the coming year.